Have you ever seen someone stay in a toxic relationship, even when they know they deserve better? Or watched a friend stay in a job that drains their soul, even though they have the talent to do something greater? Or maybe, that person is you. You tell yourself, I need to leave. I need to change. I need to choose better. But when the moment comes, you stay. Why? Why do people choose pain they already know over peace they've never felt? The answer is simple. The brain doesn't prioritize happiness. It prioritizes familiarity. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a renowned cell biologist, said, "The subconscious mind is a tape recorder of past experiences, and 95% of our behaviors come from subconscious programming." In other words, we don't always consciously choose pain. Sometimes we're just repeating what we've been programmed to believe is normal. Let's break this down. The comfort of familiar pain. Now imagine staying in a burning house. It's miserable. The air is thick with smoke. You're coughing, suffocating, but at least you know where the walls are. That's how the brain works. It prefers the predictable suffering of the burning house over the unknown possibilities of the dark forest. Even if leaving means freedom. Even if leaving means happiness. Neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza explains this in Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. The familiar past will always try to dictate your predictable future. Your brain is chemically addicted to what it knows, even if it causes you suffering. This is why change feels so hard. Your brain is chemically wired to repeat the same emotions, the same behaviors, and the same pain, because it feels safe. The brain's fear of the unknown. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It clings to what it knows, even if what it knows is hurting you. Psychologist Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, in The Body Keeps the Score, explains this perfectly. People who have been hurt repeatedly often mistake survival mode for normal life. When safety feels unfamiliar, they will unconsciously seek out chaos because it's what they know. This is why people repeat toxic relationship cycles, because love felt painful in childhood, so they chase painful love as adults. People stay in jobs they hate because they were taught that stability is safer than risk. People self-sabotage good things because happiness feels too unfamiliar, so they unconsciously destroy it. Your brain isn't working against you. It just thinks familiarity equals safety. But here's the truth. Not everything that's familiar is safe. Just because you're used to being disrespected, unloved, or unhappy, doesn't mean you have to stay there. The trap of emotional conditioning. Think about a person who was raised in chaos. Maybe they grew up in a home full of fighting, neglect, or instability. Dr. Nicole LePera, author of How to Do the Work, explains, the nervous system adapts to what it repeatedly experiences. If you grew up in emotional turmoil, your body will crave stress and dysfunction, not because it wants to suffer, but because that's what feels familiar. So as an adult, what kind of environment do you think feels normal to them? Chaos. So when they meet a healthy, loving person, their brain says, this is too quiet. This feels weird. Something must be wrong. And without even realizing it, they push peace away and run back to pain, not because they want to suffer, not because they don't deserve love, but because pain is what they know. This is why people get addicted to toxic cycles, because peace doesn't feel like home. Identity and self-worth issues. Why some people sabotage good things. Imagine someone who's been criticized, rejected, or neglected their entire life. Their subconscious mind absorbs this message. I am not worthy of love. I don't deserve happiness.
So what happens when they finally get something good? A healthy relationship? A great job? Genuine happiness? They sabotage it.
Not because they want to, but because their identity, the core belief about who they are, doesn't match this new reality. Dr. Nathaniel Branden, in The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, explains, a person will never rise above the self-image they hold. If they see themselves as unworthy, they will unconsciously sabotage anything that contradicts that belief. This is called self-concept resistance when your internal identity fights against external success. Similarly, imposter syndrome plays a role. Dr. Pauline Clance and Dr. Suzanne Imes, who coined the term, found that people with low self-worth often feel like frauds when they experience success. They expect failure, so they create it, pushing away good relationships, procrastinating, or making self-destructive choices. How this shows up in real life, in careers, a person who was always told they weren't good enough may unconsciously procrastinate, quit, or underperform when success is within reach. In personal growth, if happiness feels foreign, they may create drama, conflict, or problems just to return to a familiar state of struggle. Attachment to the past: why people stay stuck in old patterns. Have you ever looked back on a toxic relationship and thought, maybe it wasn't that bad? Or stayed in a miserable situation because it felt like home? That's attachment to the past. And it's powerful. The science of nostalgia and emotional attachment. Dr. John Bowlby, the father of attachment theory, discovered that early emotional bonds shape the way we handle relationships and life choices as adults. If love was inconsistent or painful, we attach to what's familiar, even if it's unhealthy. If struggle was normalized, we cling to suffering because peace feels foreign. Similarly, trauma bonding, a term explored by psychologist Dr. Patrick Carnes, explains why people stay in toxic relationships, abusive cycles, or unhealthy environments. The brain forms an emotional addiction to pain mixed with comfort, making it hard to leave, even when you know you should. The role of nostalgia and memory distortion. Psychologists Dr. Konstantin Sedekides and Dr. Tim Wildschut studied nostalgia and found that the brain romanticizes the past by emphasizing positive memories while downplaying the pain. This is why you miss your toxic ex but forget how much they hurt you. You stay in an unhealthy family dynamic because that's just how it is. You hold on to old dreams or identities instead of growing into something new. Nostalgia tricks your brain into thinking the past was better than it was, keeping you trapped in cycles you should be breaking. How trauma and emotional TIs keep you stuck? Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, in The Body Keeps the Score, explains that trauma isn't just a memory, it's stored in the body. People who experience trauma often repeat the same painful patterns because their nervous system is stuck in survival mode. Even if the situation is over, the emotional attachment remains, making it hard to move forward. How to choose unfamiliar peace. 1. Recognize the pattern. It is important to recognize the pattern because awareness is the first step to change. As Dr. Gabor Maté, a trauma expert, explains, we are drawn to what is familiar, even if it is painful, because it is what we have learned to expect. This means that many of the choices we make, whether in relationships, careers, or daily habits, aren't always based on what's good for us but on what feels safe and predictable. If you find yourself repeating the same unhealthy cycles, pause and ask, am I choosing this because it genuinely serves me, or because it's simply what I've always known? Recognizing this difference breaks the illusion of comfort and opens the door to healthier, more fulfilling choices. 2. Surround yourself with new normals. If you grew up in chaos, your brain learned to associate unpredictability with normalcy, making peace feel foreign or even unsettling. To rewire this, you must actively expose yourself to calmness and stability. Spend time in quiet environments, surround yourself with emotionally healthy people, and allow yourself to experience love that is gentle, consistent, and kind. At first, peace may feel uncomfortable, even boring, but that's just your nervous system adjusting to a new normal. Over time, as you immerse yourself in stability, your brain will learn that safety doesn't have to come with struggle, and love doesn't have to hurt. 3. Give yourself permission to be happy. Give yourself permission to be happy, even if happiness feels unfamiliar at first. Dr. Edith Eger, a Holocaust survivor and psychologist, reminds us in The Choice. We are all imprisoned by our minds in some way. But the key is in our hands. We can choose to walk out at any time. This means that no matter how deeply ingrained our patterns are, we have the power to break free. You don't have to stay in the burning house just because you know the exits. You are allowed to step into the unknown, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Peace, love, and happiness are not just things other people get to have. They are available to you too. 4. Acknowledge the full truth. Acknowledge the full truth, not just the good parts. When we look back on the past, especially painful experiences, the brain has a way of romanticizing what was familiar, focusing on the moments of comfort while minimizing the hurt. But true healing requires seeing things as they really were. Write down the actual pain you experienced, the neglect, the disrespect, the exhaustion, the way it made you feel. Let your brain fully process that staying wasn't safe, healthy, or right for you. When you stop filtering out the bad, you stop clinging to illusions. This is how you break free, by facing reality, not a fantasy. 5. Heal trauma responses. Healing trauma responses requires working with both the mind and body, because trauma isn't just stored in memories, it's imprinted in your nervous system. This is why somatic therapy, body-based healing, and EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, are powerful tools for releasing trauma at its root. Somatic therapy helps you tune into your body's responses, regulating emotions and breaking the cycle of fight or flight reactions, while EMDR rewires the brain by processing traumatic memories in a way that reduces their emotional charge. These methods help the body unlearn survival mode, making peace and safety feel natural rather than foreign. You don't have to stay trapped in old patterns. Your body and mind can learn a new way to exist. 6. Cut emotional cords. Cutting emotional cords is essential for moving forward, especially when past relationships, experiences, or traumas still have a hold on you. Dr. Judith Orloff, in the Empath Survival Guide, teaches the power of energetic detachment, a practice that allows you to emotionally disconnect from people or memories that keep you stuck. This isn't about denying the past, but about releasing the emotional grip it has on you. Visualization, journaling, and setting firm emotional boundaries can help you sever these ties, allowing you to reclaim your energy and stop reliving pain that no longer serves you. You are not obligated to carry old wounds forever. You have the right to let go and step into freedom. 7. Create a new future. Create a new future by redefining who you are and who you want to become. Dr. Benjamin Hardy, in Personality Isn't Permanent, emphasizes the power of identity shifting, the idea that you're not bound by your past but can intentionally shape your future by aligning your actions with the person you aspire to be. Instead of letting old patterns, past trauma, or limiting beliefs dictate your life, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? How does that version of me think, act, and make decisions? The moment you start making choices based on your future self, rather than your past conditioning, you begin stepping into a new reality, one that you create, not one you inherit. 8. Challenge the narrative. Challenge the narrative that keeps you stuck by questioning its origins. Ask yourself, where did I learn that I don't deserve happiness? Who told me that? And why should I believe it? Many of our deepest insecurities and self-doubts aren't actually ours. They were planted in us by past experiences, caregivers, society, or toxic relationships. Maybe you were taught that love must be earned, that success comes with suffering, or that happiness is something other people get to have but not you. But just because a belief was given to you doesn't mean you have to keep it. You have the power to rewrite your own story, to unlearn the lies, and to step into a future where joy, love, and success belong to you just as much as anyone else. 9. Rewire self-identity. Rewire your self-identity by actively reshaping the way you see yourself. Dr. Joe Dispenza, in Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, explains that through neuroplasticity, the brain can rewire itself with new beliefs and behaviors. This means you're not stuck in old patterns. You can train your mind to believe new truths. Repeating affirmations like "I am worthy of peace" or visualize yourself already thriving sends signals to your brain that this is your new reality. But to fully step into this transformation, you must also challenge the old narrative that holds you back. Ask yourself, where did I learn that I don't deserve happiness? Who told me that? And why should I believe it? Many of our limiting beliefs were given to us by others, family, society, past relationships, but that doesn't make them true. The moment you stop accepting these old stories as your identity, you open the door to becoming who you were always meant to be. 10. Therapy and inner work. Therapy and inner work are powerful tools for breaking free from limiting beliefs and reshaping your self-perception. One of the most effective methods is cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), which helps identify and challenge negative thought patterns that keep you stuck in self-doubt or unworthiness. CBT teaches you to recognize distorted beliefs, reframe them with healthier perspectives, and take action toward building self-esteem. Instead of accepting thoughts like, "I am not good enough," as facts, CBT helps you question them. Where's the evidence for this? Is this thought helping or harming me? Over time, this mental rewiring shifts your mindset, allowing you to replace self-sabotage with self-compassion and step into a more empowered version of yourself. So now, the question is, which one will you choose? Familiar pain? Or unfamiliar peace? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. What's one familiar pain you've struggled to let go of? And how are you stepping into peace? And if this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into psychology, self-growth, and breaking toxic patterns. Because you deserve more than just survival. You deserve to thrive.